In the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful. The Book of Revelation. Book 1 Hadith 3. Narrated Aisha, the mother of the faithful believers. The commencement of the divine inspiration to Allah's Messenger, prayers and peace be upon him, was in the form of good dreams which came true like bright daylight, and then the love of seclusion was bestowed upon him. He used to go in seclusion in the cave of Hira where he used to worship Allah alone, continuously for many days before his desire to see his family. He used to take with him the journey food for the stay and then come back to his wife, Khadijah, to take his food likewise again till suddenly the truth descended upon him while he was in the cave of Hira. The angel came to him and asked him to read. The Prophet Messenger, prayers and peace be upon him, replied, I do not know how to read. The Prophet Messenger, prayers and peace be upon him, added, The angel caught me, forcefully, and pressed me so hard that I could not bear it any more. He then released me and again asked me to read, and I replied, I do not know how to read. Thereupon he caught me again and pressed me a second time till I could not bear it any more. He then released me and again asked me to read, but again I replied, I do not know how to read, or what shall I read? Thereupon he caught me for the third time and pressed me, and then released me and said, Read in the name of your Lord, who has created all that exists, created man from a clot. Read. And your Lord is the most generous. Quran 96, 1-3. Then Allah's Messenger, prayers and peace be upon him, returned with the inspiration and with his heart beating severely. Then he went to Khadijah bint Khuwaylid and said, Cover me! Cover me! They covered him till his fear was over, and after that he told her everything that had happened and said, I fear that something may happen to me. Khadijah replied, Never! By Allah, Allah will never disgrace you. You keep good relations with your kith and kin, help the poor and the destitute, serve your guests generously and assist the deserving calamity-afflicted ones. Khadijah then accompanied him to her cousin Waraka bin Nawfal bin Asad bin Abdul Uzza, who, during the pre-Islamic period, became a Christian and used to write the writing with Hebrew letters. He would write from the Gospel in Hebrew as much as Allah wished him to write. He was an old man and had lost his eyesight. Khadijah said to Waraka, Listen to the story of your nephew, O my cousin. Waraka asked, O my nephew, what have you seen? Allah's Messenger, prayers and peace be upon him, described whatever he had seen. Waraka said, This is the same one who keeps the secrets, Angel Gabriel, whom Allah had sent to Moses. I wish I were young and could live up to the time when your people would turn you out. Allah's Messenger, prayers and peace be upon him, asked, Will they drive me out? Waraka replied in the affirmative and said, Anyone, man, who came with something similar to what you have brought was treated with hostility, and if I should remain alive till the day when you will be turned out, then I would support you strongly. But after a few days Waraka died and the divine inspiration was also paused for a while. This hadith is a well-known narration in Sahih al-Bukhari, narrated by Aisha, the wife of Prophet Muhammad, prayers and peace be upon him. It describes the initial experiences of the Prophet Muhammad, prayers and peace be upon him, with the divine revelation and the encounter with the angel Gabriel in the cave of Hira. Let's break down the key points and expand on them. Commencement of divine inspiration. The narration mentions that the divine inspiration to the Prophet Muhammad, prayers and peace be upon him, began with good dreams that came true. These dreams were like bright daylight, serving as a precursor to the revelation of Allah's message. Love of seclusion. After experiencing these dreams, the Prophet Muhammad, prayers and peace be upon him, started developing a love for seclusion. He would retreat to the cave of Hira and engage in worship for extended periods, often taking provisions with him for the stay. Encounter with the angel Gabriel. While in the cave of Hira, the angel Gabriel appeared to the Prophet Muhammad, prayers and peace be upon him, and asked him to read. Initially, the Prophet Muhammad, prayers and peace be upon him, expressed his inability to read. The angel then physically embraced him tightly and released him, repeating the request to read. This process was repeated 2 more times until the angel finally revealed the opening verses of Surah Al-Alaq, chapter 96 of the Quran. Reaction of the Prophet Muhammad, prayers and peace be upon him. The Prophet Muhammad, prayers and peace be upon him, overwhelmed by this intense experience, returned from the cave with his heart pounding. He sought comfort from his wife, Khadija, asking her to cover him. After calming down, he shared the entire incident with her, expressing his fear and uncertainty about what had occurred. Khadija's support. Khadija, the Prophet's wife, reassured him and displayed her unwavering faith in Allah and his mission. She reminded him of his noble character and assured him that Allah would never disgrace him. She encouraged him to continue his good deeds and acts of kindness. Meeting with Waraka bin Nawfal, Khadija took the Prophet Muhammad, prayers and peace be upon him, to her cousin, Waraka bin Nawfal, who had knowledge of previous scriptures and was well versed in the Hebrew language. Waraka recognized the significance of the encounter and confirmed that the angel Gabriel was the same angel who had communicated with the prophets before, including Moses. He expressed his wish to be alive when the prophet's people would reject him, as he would have supported him strongly. Pausing of divine inspiration. Unfortunately, after a few days, Waraka passed away, and there was a pause in the divine inspiration for a while. This period of pause was a test for the Prophet Muhammad, prayers and peace be upon him, before the revelations resumed.